I'm gonna chase it, and I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it, no matter how hard we try. And I'm gonna chase it, and I'm gonna chase it. I know we can't ignore it, no matter how hard we try. Fire in the veins, I fight to gain, breaking all the rules to keep me sane.
Hey guys, and welcome to the English shooting live stream here from the Blue Fieldsports gun room. As always, I'm joined by Conners, who's happy as ever. Behind the camera we have Alex running the stream, and we also, behind the camera, have Paul Wyborn, who was on a previous live stream. So if you have any Action Air questions during the evening, then please fire away.
Paul's main job tonight is just to mock you.
Oh, I wasn't.
He's going to mock you
I
silently.
wasn't told about this.
He's going to mock you silently from the corner and try to put you off.
Oh no!
Are you guys getting bored of this? Every week it's the same old BS.
Well, it's just us. We're not in focus, are we?
We are not in focus.
We didn't focus the camera.
No, I think we are in focus just because we're connected to the other Wi-Fi.
No, you're not.
We're not in focus.
We're not.
Shall I focus the camera? We're off to a great start, aren't we?
Yeah.
Let me just focus.
In answer. Hello.
No thrusting.
In answer to the question on the Salt S1, no, there's a pepper spray gun. It's not legal. That's Section 5. It's very Section 5.
Very
Section 5.
Anything that's used for like self-defense or even
Less than lethal.
or offense. So
specifically less than lethal stuff is Section 5.
It's like rubber bullets or beanbag rounds for shotguns.
Yep.
Section
Can't
5.
have those at home.
So you can own a 12 gauge slug under Section 1, but a beanbag round is Section 5.
Yep.
It's down to the use and justification. Isn't it?
It's down to intention. You know, why do you have a slug? Because I shoot target shotgun. Why do you have a beanbag round?
Because they're fun. You don't want to hurt the targets. This is a very PC world we live in now.
I don't know if the lead ban does come into play, maybe we will be shooting practical shotgun with beanbag rounds.
Could you shoot pheasants with a beanbag round?
You just stun them.
It'd be great. We could reuse them.
Hey, you know what? That's as eco-friendly as it gets. Recycling your pheasants.
Yeah. So it's the usual deal. Any questions
It's
you
the
have?
usual deal. You ask us questions, we mock each other, everyone has a good time, and Callum goes home and cries at night.
Yes, masturbate furiously. And if we reach 100 likes, I leave.
Callum fucks off.
I go home and
Yep.
masturbate furiously. Just like any other night, really.
I don't know if it's because of that, because it's cold in here. My nipples are rock hard right now.
Don't, because I might have to masturbate furiously here. So anyway, usual deal. Any questions or topics you want to throw at us? We have our sort of pre-list here of things we're gonna cover. There are a few really interesting things, positive things.
That deserves a fucking opener.
Oh yeah,
Thank you very much.
Let's cheers to Stephen Wolf. Thank you very much. Maybe we should have that. Maybe we should say we can't drink Pepsi on the stream until someone donates.
Fuck that.
So yeah, fire any questions. Of course, likes are always appreciated. It helps grow the channel, share the stream, all the analytics and all that. Sinner 2004, what's the song that is being played on the start of the stream during the countdown? Really good question.
Yes.
It's actually from, I will find it, I should post it, because I get asked this question quite a lot, because I like the song as well. I should post it in the description below.
The full song is actually pretty good.
Yeah, so it is available. I think it was from, it's either from Artlist.io or Epidemic Sounds, but it's one of
I think
these.
it's an Artlist one.
Yeah, we actually used it in the European Handgun Championship as well, and I liked it so much I stole it. But yeah, I'll try and find it out, and in future live streams I'll put it in the description below. If you're making videos, I can highly recommend Artlist.io or Epidemic Sound. It's a huge catalogue of music that is sort of royalty free. Mm-hmm. You have to pay for it. Epidemic is a subscription service. Artlist.io is sort of a yearly thing.
Epidemic's kind of complicated as well, isn't it? Depending on, you have to credit. If you don't pay, you have to credit, and then that's okay. But then if you've got a certain more,
there's different levels depending on how you're using the music. They're all fairly good value if you're making a lot of videos. And as you can hear during the start, there are some cool songs on there. It's been spotted. Wayne Hemmings, Connor's Apple laptop.
Don't know what you're talking about.
I finally convinced him. I got him to get one of those new ThinkPad apples.
This is the new Apple that comes with a Quadro, NVIDIA Quadro graphics card in it. You know,
it's shit.
Never done before. It's not shit.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, it's shit. When the slow-mo camera comes down, which laptop are we running it on?
That's neither here nor there.
No.
I could get a dongle. It will be £100, but I could get an Ethernet dongle. Thank you very much.
An Ethernet dongle.
What?
An Ethernet dongle.
Dungarees. Oh god, it's far too late.
It is past 7:30. I'll have you know.
Oh, this is when the shenanigans happen.
The shenanigans have started.
Oh no. Where's your other hand? Xbox. It's what? It's been like 5 minutes and we still haven't talked about anything guns. Thank you, Xbox One Geeks, for your donation. Ash Mahmood, where's your cat?
She's
here
out.
somewhere.
She's actually outside at the moment. Paul will have to let her in when she starts crying at the door.
She's out getting some mice.
What's the best cheap Bluetooth in-ear Pro? So I think, like, normally this is the point where we tell you Raycon, but I think as far as I know, you are the only YouTube channel not yet sponsored by Raycon.
Please, Raycon.
Raycon. That's why they don't sponsor you. It's a Striborg all over it.
No, that's their Chinese copy. Raycon. Well, it's buds, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bluetooth in-ear Pros. Does CFG do one, don't they?
So yeah, custom fit guards they make. Last I spoke to them, they were looking at it. I don't think they currently had it, but go and look at custom fit guards. Of course, it's what I use for all of my hearing protection.
Richard up at Custom Fit Guards is the sort of person that he's only going to do it if he can do it right. Mm-hmm. So if he hasn't got it, it's because he's still working on a way to make it perfect.
But another thing that he offers as well is a wired headphone, more for motorbike users. But I was looking at getting a set for filming, so when we go out and film.
Ear Pro and monitors.
Well, that's it, because usually when I'm filming,
Unless
I can either have one.
In which case you're double plugging again.
Yeah, but when I'm filming, I have to have Ear Pro on if I'm on a range, but then I also have to hear the audio. So what I end up doing is getting some headphones and like just cupping them so that I don't go deaf.
Cupping, eh?
Cup. So Paul Alexander, enjoyed your earlier video. Thank you for watching. So there was a video released this evening it's actually one of the things that we're going to talk about this evening. It's the gun here in front of me, a new offering from Cotswold Classic Arms. Make sure you go and check that out after the stream.
Skipped over one question from DATV. Do you know of a good target practical club in the northeast? Grimsby. You have got Northcote's, but arguably one of the top practical clubs in the country. Not only is it a practical club, but they shoot all disciplines there. So, really good club to join. And they also have like an out of region membership, which is slightly cheaper if you live outside a certain radius.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I know quite a lot of people will travel to that club because it's such a good club.
And they hold one of the level 3 matches, UK PSA. Do they do any mini rifle up there?
I pass. I don't know.
Okay, but they put on a very good shotgun match, level 3 UK PSA match, every single year, apart from this year, obviously, thanks to COVID. Just a quick mention, if Alison is still on the stream, yes, I have got your emails. Sorry, I haven't got back to you. I will do that as soon as possible. Please bear with me on that. What else have you guys been talking about? So
did they bother fixing the cooling issue on them? On what?
On the Macs?
On the Macs, probably, because there's no fucking cooling issues with this.
No. If you go to Apple and say, my Mac gets really hot to the point where it's burning your lap on a coat, they go, yeah, that's just what they do. They go, don't put it on your lap, but it's a laptop. No, it's a MacBook. We never said it had anything to do with laps.
Oh, look, there's another person you should be sponsored by that you're not because you're too small and useless. Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow, yeah. Actually, Raycon and Raid Shadow Legends sponsor Daily Driven Exotics. It's their two big...
A significantly more successful channel than yours. Do you know why he's not successful? Because you don't hit the like button. Shame on you.
Subscribe. Like and subscribe.
And that one.
If you're watching and you're not subscribed, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
This is easily one of the top 50 YouTube channels in the UK for shooting. I can't.
You just lost like 20 subscribers right there.
I only know of like 50 UK YouTube channels.
Why not get some relevant to your channel sponsors? Because no one will sponsor his channel, not even me.
Yeah, but you do give me free shit occasionally. You don't know what I have to do for it. I can't say that on the live stream. It's not safe for work. But anyway, so this I saw Dan asking about the new edition behind us, and that's actually relevant to something that happened this week. It's a video that will be coming out on Gunroom TV very soon. So some of you will hopefully remember the addition of my biltong knife made by Mark at Marmot.
It's gone rusty again.
No, there's biltong
on it.
Nom nom nom. So he made me this lovely knife. It's layered steel. Got the what do they call it? It's the Begins with D.
Damascus.
That's the one. That's the. So it's,
Damascus.
well,
Yes, it is Damascus.
Yeah, it's got certainly the Damascus.
It's got Damascus
effect.
layers on it.
It's
No, with Mark, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a Damascus effect. It will be Damascus.
Really, really happy with it. Perfect shape, perfect size for cutting biltong. You can actually see there's one on the shelf as well, made in the same. I can never remember what the model of this knife is.
Cleaver.
Cleaver, that's it. It's a game, like a deer cleaver or a game cleaver. And that's one of his more standard creations with the wood handle behind. But I'm not the only one with a Marmaduke Creations knife now.
Callum gets his biltong knife. I get my RO's knife. And this...
Is that when they're not going fast enough? Reset.
Yeah, basically, it's for our unruly competitors. No. So this is a very thick, hard-use knife meant for maintaining stage furniture and stuff. And it also has a staple remover. So maybe not so useful for the shotgun match this weekend, but certainly mini rifle, action air, pistol, all that good stuff.
But you've skipped over one huge feature of that knife, which is the wood.
It's pointy.
Very sharp.
The knife is pointy.
It's got a lovely sort of distressed look to it. I guess like not the wood, the blade as well.
So yeah, this is a stone wash finish.
Yeah.
I think.
Stop hiding it behind your screen.
Yeah, so it's very similar to the tumbling process that we have two fairly heavy duty machines to do. He does it with an old paint can and some pebbles. But the finish is utterly insane. And the thing is about him doing it that way is he's got granular control over the level of finish that this gets. And you can tell he's paid very careful attention to
I actually had the privilege of going down, it was when I was filming the video that went out on English Shooting about knife care, and I did see that I think it was Stephen, keeping it in the sheath. It was only for transportation over to here. When I keep it in the office, it is out of the sheath so it doesn't go rusty.
You pulling a knife in and out of a sheath just makes me nervous. Not for me.
Yeah. Almost.
And of course, like the main feature of this is the handles were made from an offcut of the same wood used to make the form rifle stock and Chiappa grips down there.
So you now have a matching pair. You have a rifle, a handgun, and a knife, all with the same wood on it. And
you could stab me with both ends.
Stop waving that near my face.
No, but I have to say, like the staple remover on the back is a nice touch.
I think that's like maybe the first one he's done as well, something a bit new. But if you watch the knife maintenance video that went out on the channel, if you do have knives and you want to know the tips and tricks for maintaining them, go and check that out. But I actually got the privilege of seeing this knife being born, pretty much start to finish. So I got to see Connor's knife before he did. That video will be going out on Gunroom TV, so you'll get to see a bit of live knife making and also Connor's reaction to opening it for the first time and learning a bit more about Marmaduke. But in other news as well, talking about Marmaduke, the reason that we have the shelf behind us is because these are now in stock, available at Blue Fieldsports. So if you come down to the gun room, which we do, it's a gun room, it's a business. If you want to come down and buy some guns or have a look around or got any questions, book yourself an appointment. And if you want to have a look at the Marmaduke knives, which are absolutely stunning, 3 different types there of what he does with very different finishes and handles.
Let's talk a little bit
They
about.
also have a website as well.
Yes, they also have a website, marmadukecreations.co.uk.
So let's talk a little bit about Mark and Marmaduke for a bit. Been spending a lot of time with him recently, mainly down in the workshop playing with a laser because he's going to start makers marking the knives. We've been finessing a laser marking technique that's going to look absolutely awesome on his knives.
Yep.
He's an artisan, and I mean that in the truest sense of the word. Every knife he makes is different. He cannot or he will not make the same knife twice. Each and every one is it's a demonstration of his workmanship. It is almost a piece of art.
If you do go to him and say, I've seen this exact knife, I would like you to make that again, he will do that. But
he'll also talk to you and find out what you want and what you like.
Exactly.
And what you will end up getting is something that's very personal to you.
And that's why, he was really up for doing it in the same wood. Alex supplied the wood from the offcut of those, the stock and the grip. And again, mine is almost a one-off because the white Corin isn't something that I don't think he's done before or does very rarely. So it's everything's just a little bit more unique.
The knife is absolutely covered in biltong.
I've actually just
Or is
realised.
it bits of sheath?
I think it's bits of sheath.
They probably taste the same.
Dried old leather.
Yeah. So, Sinner 2004 went to Silverstone Shooting Centre last Saturday to have a look around, still trying to figure out what clubs to join. They had a comp on for the blue team there and Ben Ducker. No comment on Silverstone.
Someone else also asked a question about Chris Vector as well.
Yeah, so Manky Man evening, who's going to ask Callum about the Vector?
Well, the Vector is a 2.2LR semi-auto rifle.
That sort of looks like a bullpup.
Okay.
In my opinion.
If you're an idiot, it looks like a bullpup.
And if you're an even bigger idiot, you think it's good for mini rifle. But we shall.
Oh! Shots fired.
Well, not with the Chris.
Shots
So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, we're trying to keep it as professional and unchildish as possible. Needless to say, you won't see me in the mini rifle, practical mini rifle group anytime soon. I was unfortunately banned due to an exchange I had with the guy that runs it, John Thorne, who also runs the Silverstone Shooting
Because
Centre.
you are a particularly vexatious individual.
Yes, at points. And basically, I, in no uncertain terms, told him what I thought of the Chris Vector, which he didn't seem to receive very, very well, and ended up banning me. So that happened.
He didn't ban me though.
Didn't ban Connors. No, he's too scared to do that. I wouldn't want to ban him either. The Chris Vector as a rifle as a whole, I don't particularly have anything against. I think it's certainly the 45 ACP version. It's a very unique and innovative sort of design.
I mean, it's very clever the way the bolt cycles down into the action to mitigate recoil. Very similar to the original VZ58 Scorpion. VZ58? No, VZ58 is a completely separate gun. It's very similar to the original Scorpion.
Also, it's sort of similar to the Stryborg as well, in a way.
No, the Stryborg is straight blowback. Well, it's roller delayed blowback, I believe.
Oh, that's it. Roller delayed.
No, but the Scorpion, the little pistol type thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't. The bolt doesn't necessarily reciprocate down into the action. What it does, and Otto again, Cotswold Classic Arms was telling us this. It trips a latch that sends a weight down into the pistol grip, which then gets sprung back up, and then delatches the bolt to let it forward. But it's that action which means you can fire it full auto with one hand.
Yeah, so really low recoil.
But these things are intended for full auto use.
Yes, but of course, people lust after the full auto, so they've made a 2.2 version. And I think as a plinker gun, as a bit of fun, very similar to say the Umarex MP5 clone and the Umarex 416 clones, as a bit of fun, absolutely great. I really don't understand how anyone could think it's good for mini rifle. That's not actually just anything personal against John. I don't see it. I haven't shot the gun. I've handled it.
We had the one that.
We had one down here, but
it didn't work.
It didn't. And the thing is, the feedback I've had of anyone that has used it in competition, there's been multiple issues with it. So I don't rate it particularly highly for competition.
You say anyone who uses it in competition? As far as I know, there's only one person.
I was trying to be diplomatic there.
Okay.
But yeah, I just don't rate it.
You diplomatic. That's your way.
I was trying. You did it.
Your way of being diplomatic is baiting me into making an insult by accident.
Maybe the gift.
Didn't Silverstone issue get in a public Facebook fight with Gunroom TV?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Silverstone Shooting Centre got into a fight with Callum.
Hello.
That's not Gunroom TV. Got into a fight with Callum.
Yeah,
No, that's not true.
but dragged in Gunroom TV.
He dragged in Gunroom TV, dragged in me, tried to get me disbarred from the UK PSA, did all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So needless to say, this wasn't.
I'm friends with everyone.
I'm friends with everyone.
Almost everyone.
Except 2 people.
Except 2 people.
I wish it was.
But my 2 people are different to your 2 people.
Well, one's the same now.
So yeah, I don't have any. Well, actually, I have a fair amount.
Tom Edaway saying he scores so well with it.
He scores so well when he ROs and self-scores himself. Oh, was I not not meant to say that?
Oh dear.
I thought that was common knowledge on the circuit that he scored himself. I mean, it is really funny how he seems to do better at his own matches than he does at bigger matches where the decent shooters turn up.
I was just going to say on that, I didn't know he scored well because when I was at the NRA match, he was, not bad. Just,
That's Connors being diplomatic.
Did all right.
Anyway,
Did it
yeah.
right. I thought it was bottom quarter.
Did all right. I mean, you consider who was there.
And what he was shooting. I can't help it. It's just I can't see how it's a good mini rifle. I just can't, And his line back to me was, "I've shot it in 42 stages. It's well tested." I said, "Yeah, you could shoot 42 stages with a blunt stick. That would make it well tested. Doesn't make it any good." And anyway, that's I'm
moving.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's not.
There is a question in there about UCARA defence and the UKPSA. I think it was by Stephen. I'm just going to correct you there, mate. No, the UKPSA is not a defence for buying airsofts that aren't painted.
I think what he was saying was, does he really have to get a UCARA?
Yeah, you do really have to get UCARA.
Oh no, because it doesn't matter if you shoot a two-tone for Action Air.
And that's the reason it's not
Just get a two-tone and go shoot Action Air.
This was actually tested by the UKPSA and asked and blah blah blah, and they said no, because you can shoot a two-tone, it makes no difference to your sport.
But there was also, actually on the topic of Action Air, Mummy Dix said, so he's been thinking of getting into Action Air because Section 5 ended up being a no-no. Do I really... Oh, that was it. So it was Mummy Dix that asked, do I really need a UCARA number? So you don't need one because you could have one painted in two-tone, like anyone over the age of 18.
I'd be happy to have a gun with a yellow slide.
You also don't need a UCARA to actually purchase a gun. You just need to have a valid defence. Being a member of a club that shoots Action Air is a valid defence.
So for those who didn't hear what you just said,
yeah.
Paul was saying you need...
I'm going to correct him again, it's not. I've been through this.
Okay.
It's not.
UCARA is just a database.
Yeah, I know, Action Air as a sport isn't defence.
It can be used in defence.
So what Paul's saying is that if it's the club and you're a member of that club, because the UCARA is about attending skirmishes to show valid reason.
You can only get the UCARA number once you've attended 3 times.
I know, but what Paul's saying is that the UCARA isn't just the only defence.
Oh, you're saying not an Action Air club, you're saying a skirmishing club.
I mean, people at my club can be sold to.
Well, if the Action Air Club also skirmishes, and I guess attending a practice day for Action Air is just a club event, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
that would work.
So if you didn't hear that, what Paul's saying is that if you join an Action Air Club, that should be a valid defence to be able to buy a non-two-tone Action Air or airsoft gun. Again, it will probably vary on what gun shop or sort of Action Air shop you go to. Some are going to know the law better than others. But again, if you're shooting IPSC with it, if you're shooting Action Air, it doesn't matter about having it two-tone. And most of the people on the IPSC circuit, be that in shotgun, mini rifle, LBP, or even abroad, do you remember Pia's gun? She had it in the Sweden flag.
It was blue and yellow.
They in IPSC, colours are beautiful and everyone likes their own flair. So it's not an issue when you're doing skirmishing and you're probably going after either the realism or you don't want a bright colour because you're trying to hide in a bush somewhere. That's when it becomes more important.
Hide in a bush. I didn't know it was about Florence's mum already.
I did see a comment about maybe we should do this past the watershed. I think that might be appropriate. I mean, to be fair, I did mark the thing on YouTube that said this wasn't suitable for kids. So if you're under the age of 18, I strongly recommend
we have
you
nothing
leave.
but children in the comments section right now.
What was that? You've had nothing but children. Moving on
swiftly onwards.
Do you know, I'm actually quite surprised when I look at the analytics. By far...
You see every dip there?
Yeah.
It's every time we make a joke.
No, that's the spikes. That was John Thorne. Anyway, moving on. Looking at the analytics, the biggest age group on the channel is 25 to 30. And like YouTube, I always thought was like a real sort of young platform. I think it's something like less than 1% of the total viewership of English shooting is under the age of 18, which is why over the past year or so I've got more liberal with the language and the jokes that have been put on air because I know the outright...
It's not because of the bad influence around you.
But I know that 99% of all the viewers are, of age, and are over the age of 18. And I mark all the things on YouTube saying it's not suitable for kids, it's not made for kids. So
if you're a kid and you're watching this, no, this is not for you.
Give the iPad back to mummy and send me her number. Anyway, we're going vastly off topic. That's it. Anyway.
No one else is asking questions.
I believe David Kiddle has some Action Air questions.
Kiddle said he'll run an Action Air stage in jeans. Yeah. Well, he did. It was a few live streams ago.
You can shoot my gun.
Yeah. Yeah, just break that.
Well, if Kiddle reckons he can beat Paul.
Yes, that I would.
So I just want to put this out there, right? Like, whilst we mock him a lot, do remember that David Kiddle used to be quite the handgun shooter.
He's still got some skills.
Yeah.
You say used to. He's still got. I've seen him on the rare occasion he does shoot. Yeah, you're going to have some serious skills to keep up with him. Actually, and on that note, it was one of the first things to talk about, something that's really positive and new, talking about David Kiddle, who's, of course, one of the committee members, as is Conners, of the Kentucky Firearms Club. They have managed to find a new bit of land for some new, some more practical shotgun competitions.
So, right down our neck of the woods, actually in Gosport, Leon Solent, David has managed to find
That was louder than I expected.
David's managed to find a new range. So this is a clay club, so shooting is already happening there on a fairly regular basis. The owner of the clay club has already built a bay. I'm not entirely sure what the reason was for it, but it's decent enough size for like a pretty big stage, which we ran. And there's lots more open areas in and amongst the clay club where we ran some more stages. It was really good fun last weekend. I had a great time. Reasonably small event because of COVID restrictions, but still really, really good. The owner of the range is quite interested in practical as well. I believe he's actually going to go see David to buy himself a Section 1.
Awesome.
And he's really keen to build some bays. So we're hoping that once we tell him where we would like the bays and how we'd like them laid out, we actually have quite a decent ground there. And one of the things that's always top of the list when you're talking about new ranges and that sort of stuff is planning permission. This guy, as far as I understand it, is well aware and fully versed in planning issues. He's a contractor by trade.
Yep.
And planning permission is already underway for this site.
And I have to say that the ground was. It's almost, despite being a clay ground and having been a clay ground for many, many years, it was almost just like too perfect in terms of IPSC. Like we turned up, David took us around the stages, and it was like, they built this for us. No, this is the clay ground. It's like, but there's all these bays everywhere that you can do all these cool stages on. Yeah. So I ended up shooting it, unfortunately, with just a Section 2, but I had an amazing time anyway. And for the first match that they run there, it was a bit of a tester. They were limited in the time and obviously not being there before what they could actually do or what they thought they could do. And they still put on some pretty good stages
it was
for a
decent.
first shoot there. No, don't take it off.
No, I'm not taking it off.
Because you've added value there.
Mamadix is saying...
Right, if he takes it off, I've got another one.
Mamadix is saying that it's annoying.
We'll just get the waifu stickers, it'll be fine.
He's saying that it's annoying him that the sticker is a little off-centre.
So a few people asking where it is. It's actually in Leon Solent. It's in Leon Solent, which is right next to. Don't say it's in Gosport, David. You will annoy everyone that lives in Leon Solent, even though it is Gosport.
It's Gosport.
It's like
it's south of the bridge. It's Gosport.
It's basically on the way through to Gosport from Fareham down on the south coast, and. Yeah, so it's fairly easy to get to, just off the M27. Funnily enough, I told David this, but I forgot to tell you this. My girlfriend actually lives in the row of houses right by this range, and she does on occasion complain about the clay shooting. There was a lot of complaints, not just from her but other residents, about the practical shooting, saying that there's been a number of complaints already put in
As far as I understand it, this range owner has dealt with many complaints from the residents before, and the same thing stands every single time. The range was there long before the houses were.
And I mean, it is next to an airfield as well. There's Daedalus airfield, which is getting bigger and bigger. And, you know, it's unfortunate to have to sort of take that line, but the Clay Club was there before. There is an argument to say, well, it wasn't being used for practical, but it's still shotguns. But then you've got the 28-day rule, and this, because there's been so many complaints, what the owner basically said is, you know, the council have just given up. You know, they've tried to take him to court many times. He's won every single time, and the council were just like, look, we can't win this. So, you know, I feel for my girlfriend and her parents. I know if you're trying to have a relaxing Saturday and all you can hear is gunfire, although I can't think of anything better. I can understand for people that aren't into shooting, that would be really annoying. But it sounds like it's fairly safe. It sounds like it should be there for a while, and as far as I know, there are already 12 shoot days booked in. So if you're looking to get in to practical shotgun, join Kentucky Firearms Club. You'll be able to make use of this new range. And I know that they're already planning on holding some big matches there. They've got a inter-team or inter-club shoot going on there. So we're all going to be doing that, representing our various teams.
With any luck, if they manage to drive the house prices down enough around that you'd be able to afford one.
Actually, this is a great plan.
Kiddo, we need to book more days down there.
Yes, right. It's actually quite a nice area. So
yeah, but it's still in Gosport.
It is. This is the thing. It's just like,
but there are two very, very good things about Gosport: KFC and McDonald's.
Yeah, but they have that in Port Solent. We should just cut Gosport off and float it into Solent.
Well, no, that's why to get to Gosport there's that big bridge, is so that if the Gosportians...
There isn't a bridge.
Well, there is. There's the flyover.
Yeah, but it's not like an ocean bridge.
No, but the idea of that flyover.
They just blow the sport.
If the Gosportians ever become sentient and rise up, they can just blow the bridge and block them off from the rest of civilization.
And the thing I say about don't say to someone in Lee and Solent that they live in Gosport, the thing is they have the Gosport phone code. Their bins have Gosport borough accounts. Gosport borough council on it. So it is technically Gosport. It's
not even technically.
No, it is.
It's south of the bridge. It's Gosport.
It's south of the ridge. You know, where the sun doesn't shine, where we will not go.
It's like being north of the wall, except they're south of the bridge, and that's where the wildlings are.
yeah, Gosportians. Gosport is famous for one thing: having the highest rate of chlamydia in Europe. That sums up Gosport. I went to college in Gosport. I can confirm.
What, the chlamydia? Oh dear!
This was a difference.
Too much information.
Going from a secondary school in Fareham to a college in Gosport. When in Fareham there were like sex education classes for like year 10 and year 11. When I got to my college in Gosport, they were giving group sex.
Group sex.
Group sex counselling because they were having assemblies on group sex because of the rate of chlamydia around the school for year 8.
Is this group sex and counselling? Or was it counselling and then the group sex?
It's okay. Here's some Magload, it will be alright.
Do they all have group sex and then go to counselling for like the trauma, or do they have the counselling first so they can feel better and perform better in the group sex?
Okay, guys, moving on.
No, I'm not done talking about this. This is a real issue that needs to be addressed.
Anyway, visit Gosport, it's great.
They have KFC and the McDonald's.
Screw Corona, you might get chlamydia, it's fine. Anyway.
Is there a higher chance of getting chlamydia or corona?
Yes. Okay, let's get back on track and stop talking about year 8 group sex sessions.
I did mention year 8 once. I just have you know that.
It's a beautiful place. So I, as you might have seen in the video that went live before the live stream, I got hands-on with this new offering from Cotswold Classic Arms, a name that you may be familiar if you watched the Battle Arms review, the PDW Ambi. Fantastic gun, and I'm going to say I think it is the best all-round gun on the market today. It is the fit and finish, the functionality, the the attention to detail from Battle Arms on it was superb. And then after being fettled with Otto, by Otto, it just ran absolutely phenomenally. Unfortunately, it's a £2,500 to £3,000 rifle. Certainly, if you go for the monolithic stock, and Otto knows that there's not everyone has that sort of money to put into a rifle, so he's bought out. And unfortunately, I can't pick it up and handle it because of YouTube. But he's got this. It's an L119A replica, so he's calling it the L119A22, whereas I believe there's an A1 or an A2 variant that is used by our UK Special Forces. It's built with an aero receiver set. It's got the same handguard. The way that it does differ, apart from being in 2.2 rather than 5.56, is it doesn't have a monolithic stock, which the Special Forces variant has. And yeah, go and watch the review if you're interested, because it's a starting price of £1,045.
Can I just say,
yeah,
for the other guns in that price bracket, I don't know why you'd get anything else.
It just blows everything out the water.
The thing is a lot of guns in that price bracket are using a CMMG kit or some sort of derivative. And Otto is the only person I know who can take a CMMG kit and make it run 100%. That gun is more reliable than my Smith.
Yes. And I would say it is probably, well, apart from...
And the same with his battle arms.
Yeah, so aside from the battle arms, the only gun that I would say, the only 2.2 AR that I would say is more reliable than a 15-22. It's full metal.
I'd probably put the Landtag up, the SF-15 up there as well.
Well, I said in the...
Because the SF-15 is another CMMG-based gun.
But it's been fettled.
Yes.
It's been honed in for that gun.
But there's nothing wrong with the CMG kit being fettled, because once it's in there, you never have to do anything with it.
Exactly, and it ran like a dream. I did say in the video that I would actually give the SF-15 just one notch above, just because I think the overall finish of it was just a little bit nicer. Because everything...
You'd give it one above that?
Yeah, because they're making all the parts in one go.
I'd give the SF-15 a mark above for having a nicer aesthetic.
Yes, exactly.
But not because it looks like it's built better or anything like that, because this is built better than SF-15, hands down, because it's been built by someone who does nothing but build ARs. He is as much an artisan with an AR as Marmaduke is with a knife.
Yeah.
The thing I think sort of lets it down is that it's an L119 replica. If you're not into that aesthetic, then no.
Which personally I'm not. I don't actually like the handguard.
If it had a black stock and a black grip and handguard without rails on the side and bottom, you'd probably love it. Yes, because it'd be an SF-15.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Built by Otto.
And it is like £200 cheaper than the SF-15, and the customization available is endless. You want a particular barrel, you want a particular forend. So this is what he's offering as like an off the shelf. You can phone up and go.
But it's still full custom.
But it is. But you can phone him up and go, I want the L119, and it'd be.
The benefit of this is Otto is sort of like out of reach to a lot of people, mostly because he builds custom guns. What they don't realise is he can still build you a cheap custom gun.
Yeah.
And I think what this is, if anything, is Otto can say, here is an example specification and what it will cost.
Yeah.
If you then go to him and say, I want a different handguard, different stock, different grip and all this kind of stuff, he'll build it for you. And I don't think it costs anything extra, because if the grip's the same price and the stock's the same price, the gun's going to be the same price. Yeah. Handguard could even be cheaper, because I do understand that's quite a good handguard he's put on there.
Yes, absolutely. I'd probably go for...
Do you reckon it could be sub £1,000 with a cheaper handguard? Because most people take it off and put their own one on there.
Yeah, £45. I mean, even if Otto went for like a cheaper handguard, the stock I think is as sort of low. You don't need, in my opinion, you don't need anything more or anything less.
It's a CTR, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the standard Magpul stock. It comes with an enlarged charging handle as standard. Like, that's how he makes them.
I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of that charging handle. Like, if it was my choice, I'd have like a Raiden or something like that on there. Yeah. But it's nice, and it's not something you normally get stock.
I mean, to be honest, you want to lose £45 off the price, bring it on to £1,000 or under. Just don't order it with the iron sights. If you're going to put an optic on it, why do you need the iron sight?
So I reckon if you spoke to Otto, you could have a 100% reliable gun for sub £1,000. That is a proper AR-15.
Yeah. And that's it. So again, as you say, it's a sample build, but he will build anything. But for £1,045, for £1,045, I really don't think you can go wrong. I really, for that price for this gun, I wouldn't even consider the Chris or the Titman. I
have to say the Chris lost a lot of respect in my eyes recently, because I had to do a repair to a gun that I thought was unbelievable. Yeah. Turns out, whilst the Chris is full metal, the metal it's made out of, and we're talking about the Defiance here, the metal it's made out of is not high quality. And what happened is this sort of CMG clone bolt that they have in there have been beaten on the back of the receiver, where it's a solid block before it gets to the buffer tube, and it punched a little disc of metal out. Now, it was a relatively straightforward fix. Remove the chunk of metal, install a buffer detent, and fit a regular buffer in there with the CMG preload kit. Gun ran flawlessly after that. It's gone back to the customer now, but after seeing the material that the Chris is made out of, you start to realise that actually guns don't always perform as well as they look they will. Well, looks like they will.
And I've actually just finished filming a review of the Chris that will probably be out next week. So many people have asked for a Chris Defiance review for the years that it's been available in the UK. It's taken me this long to get hold of a near standard one. I want to review as standard possible gun as possible. And doing the review and doing the research for the review and going down the range and shooting it, I used to recommend the Chris as a potential option if you were looking for a as mil-spec as possible and full metal gun.
Before we realised that full metal isn't always such a good thing.
Well, I've been saying it for years, since I was against the 1522 to start with. I started shooting it, I got to know it, and I completely changed my tune on the whole polymer thing. I understand why people want a full metal gun, cross training, realism, but
now we're starting to see an issue with the polymer gun now that we're going out to longer ranges.
Yes, but I still think that is outweighed, by the lightweight nature of a polymer. But I used to recommend the Chris. I won't anymore. After you'll see the full review. I just wasn't impressed with, firstly, how un-mil-spec it actually is. Since you had that issue in terms of the buffer tube, so the build quality, and also the reliability. As these guns have been out there in the wild for quite a while now, the reliability of them has not been brilliant. And I know even Dan Smerrill, who's in the stream, thanks for joining, Dan. He's that's a nice car going past. Yeah. Whilst I sort of half reviewed his gun on the channel, he had the full custom Chris. Now, he had put a lot of money in the gun, had a lot of changes, had a lot of gunsmithing done to it, and ran fairly well. Subsequently, after that, had outer battery detonations with it, and a whole host of reliability issues.
Who are you talking about?
Dan Smerrill.
Yeah, he lost a chunk of his bolt, didn't he?
Yeah, so, and he still doesn't
know... Why is Daniel very upset with you right now?
Yeah, he's shouting at you at the moment. I don't know why.
You dolt. Why am I a dolt?
Anyway, guys, for you,
he's wounded me for the last time. Who wants to review the Gen 3 Conners will. Just send it down. I promise I won't steal it.
I'll lick it.
I'm not having a go at you, Dan. What I'm saying is perfectly true. It clearly states it is fact.
Well, no. When Dan bought that gun, that was rated as one of the best mini rifles to get.
And I recommended it.
Yeah,
I was impressed with
it's only now that they've been out on the circuit for 2 or 3 years that we're starting to see the issues come to light. And actually, to be fair, is it so bad that you bought a gun for £1,000 and it's broken after 3 years? Yes, it is. Don't. That's really bad.
And that's the thing. Like with this, whilst because it's Firing Solution that brings in the Chris, and we know Tim very well. He's not going to leave you high and dry. He's going to look after you.
His customer service is very, very good, and he knows an awful lot about guns. He will sort you out.
But again, with Otto, he will do exactly the same.
On that note, for those of you asking for Otto's website, he doesn't actually have a website. I've linked you to his Facebook page, Everyone, please go and show Otto some love and go drop a like on his Facebook page because he's a really nice guy and he can do with some support on that page.
So someone's asking what the wood finish is called. I'm guessing you're talking about Conners guns.
This is laminate, wood laminate. It's a way of stabilising wood by using alternating layers of ply. It's basically fancy plywood, but of course it's built to a much higher standard than plywood is.
It's made by Form Rifle Stocks. The yellow...
The blank isn't made by Form Rifle Stocks.
No, the wood isn't, but they're available from Form Rifle Stocks.
So if you want to look like this, get yourself a chunk of laminated wood, take it anywhere other than the Form Rifle Stocks, you'll be golden.
The yellow was a custom order from Sweden for Conners, but they do have, I know, red... They have a green, they have a blue.
They have this sort of pinky red as well.
They have a pinky, they can do a pinky red.
They can do pink, I believe.
And pink.
Yeah.
And a whole load of other just wood finishes. So if you are interested in something like that, go and check out Form Rifle Stocks. We've been working with them for a number of years now.
Can I just quickly say, so a guy has asked if there's a shooting club in the Fareham Portsmouth area.
Yeah.
And David Kiddle has said Portsmouth Gun Club. David, you have a range right there in Fareham.
Yeah.
Your club, PSG. Join KFC, Kentucky Firearms Club. We have a Puckanoo range in Gosport that we hope to be able to use for a very long time. KFC is traditionally quite a nomadic club. We go all over the place. We've got 7-side in Wales. There's a lot of shooting going on at Bisley, especially the speed steel matches. Touch wood, this new Gosport range may just be KFC's forever home.
That would be that would be amazing.
Nice. Although we've said this many times in the past.
I mean, you would think so. From what I've said about KFC in the past, they are based at Bisley. Unfortunately, for some reason, the NRA love to cancel bookings at the last minute for KFC because it's practical shooting. They just don't seem to like it. Apparently, we've heard, it's not an official statement, but we have heard through the grapevine that it's to do with box-fed magazines, that they just don't like them.
Does someone want to tell Dan that 10,000 rounds isn't a lot through a 2.2?
Leave him. He's fine. I want that Gen 3. I really want to get the first UK review out. Please, Dad. Please bring it down.
That's not what you were telling me earlier.
He's telling lies.
But
yeah, KFC. I mean,
KFC. If it sounds really arrogant, but if you would like to meet us. Come to KFC.
Oh, shall I move over? Your head's just...
This is normally you. This is normally the sort of thing. If you want to meet me and talk to me...
I never say that.
What's it called? Callum shooting? No, it's English shooting.
Yeah, completely not me at all.
No, not you. So why tell people they should come and meet you?
I don't.
Well then, shut up. Join KFC.
We both live in Fareham.
We do.
And we're both...
Oh, and also, if you're local, which you are... Come to Blue Fieldsports. It's a...
You can meet us.
Come here. There's every sort of shooting you can think of under one roof. We have the Wall of Practical, which will definitely interest you if you're a practical shooter, with all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. We have a Chichicon.
A Chichicon.
We have a Chichicon if you want to see what not to buy.
Yeah.
We currently have an Elcan Spectre, kindly lent to us by Clive Gamlin for review. Which I have to say, while everyone says it's no good as a mini rifle scope, I kind of like it, although I'm not the best judge of optics.
What if you put that on a Chris Vector?
It would instantly devalue the Elcan.
Anyway, but yeah, we both live in Fareham. I've been a member of KFC now.
You don't have to bring Biltong or Pepsi, by the way. It's not a requirement.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
Bags will be searched at the gate. You ain't coming in. You shall not pass. 'Tis a flesh wound. But yeah, I've been a member of KFC now for 5 or 6 years. I used to travel up from Fareham to Bisley all the time, and if they have this new range in Leon Solent, you don't get really much more local than that from Fareham.
Yeah.
You know,
we're starting to turn Fareham into a bit of a shooting hub at the moment.
Yes. Chris Lewis, our club has a Hammerly TAC R1 with thousands of rounds through it, and it runs like a dream. Just need a regular clean. It's not mil spec.
I have to say that is the first one I've heard that's run.
Yeah, I wouldn't ordinarily recommend one of those. Again, you say it only costs £400. I know you're saving £200 over the Smith.
One of the issues with the Hammerly being a Humarex gun is that when it does go wrong, you're going to be paying a gunsmith 3 to 4 hours to change a firing pin.
Oh, you had this issue
with the GSG. I know. I'm
Yeah.
dreading putting that firing pin back in it when it arrives. Because it took me 2.5 hours, and I've taken these things apart before, like 3 or 4 times, and it took me 2.5 hours, I think it was, to get down to the firing pin. Something you can normally strip out of that in like 2 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's what I've said all the time. And one of the main reasons I ended up going away from the 416 Umarex to the Smith was that I was asking it was Portsmouth Gun Centre, and another great shop in the area if you want to go and window shop. I ended up buying my Smith from them because. And the reason I went for the Smith is I said to him, okay, well, what about maintenance for both of the guns? What should I be looking for? And he was like, maintenance for the 416? He said, you can't. He said, cleaning it to get to the trigger assembly voids the warranty. It's all little screws and all that to take it apart. I've never really seen the true internals of it. And when Connors had that apart on the bench, it was like an absolute nightmare. So, the Smith you can strip down literally to its components parts in like 5 minutes. You can get to the firing pin in like 2 minutes. You can check the firing pin in 30 seconds.
Same with the Chris, same with the Lantac, same with anything with like a CMG derived action. And I would, at a stretch, perhaps argue that the Smith is also like that CMC derivative of 2 rails and a reciprocating bolt with a top spring.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably just why they work. It's a proven system, and Umarex do all these weird and wonderful things. Like, I'm sure some bean counter somewhere is sitting there in Umarex saying this saves us 2 pennies over a run of 10,000, but like, I don't see how. It's so many die-cast parts. I don't see how it could actually be cheaper than taking a hunk of aluminium and drilling a hole in it, which is what you essentially do to make an
great plinking rifles, but putting thousands and thousands of rounds for it and the maintenance that you need for a competition rifle, they're just not. Up to it. Sinner 2004. If you go to Blue Fieldsports, Callum will greet you, but Connors will run off to the container office with the Pepsi Max.
And
and this is true. I greeted Sinner, and he had a crate of Pepsi, and I called Connors. He came out.
I just heard the clink of the can.
He just came in, literally poured it. Thanks, and you just disappeared.
It was in the middle of quite a lot of things that day. Someone else said something. Lots of people said, is it chicken KFC or gun KFC? You're talking about Kentucky Firearms Club, both, all the time, especially if our new patch is anything to go by.
We are looking forward to the new patches. We will give them a pride of place on the live stream.
I don't know if we said on the live stream, but remember we were talking about we were going to do a patch that's actually very, very similar for KFC with a KFC bucket rather than the kernel.
Yeah, but with your face.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I absolutely love the patch and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, maybe buying 10 was a little bit excessive, but it's supporting the club, so can't feel too guilty. We are going to have a busy weekend in front of us.
Yes, so the only shotgun level 3 of this year is being held, potentially is being held at Dartford, which is the British Masters. It is a staple of the level 3 circuit. I don't think they missed a year. And it is this weekend.
Yep.
So we are heading up there for tomorrow, where we'll be up there for the pre-match. I'm RØDE and Callum is competing.
Yep.
Not competing, but you're going to be shooting.
Yep.
And then we've got the rest of the weekend, the Saturday and the Sunday as well. We'll be up there, so it's a nice holiday actually.
So it's a huge
shooting holiday.
It won't. You'll be screwed by the end of it.
I don't mind so much.
But yeah, it's one of the highlights on the IPSC UK calendar for shotgun. I went to a British Masters 2 years ago now, and the level of competitor there is the best you're going to see in the UK by far.
It had one of the biggest international turnouts of any British British level 3. I'm saying British specifically because the Northern Ireland IPS level 3 IPSC match they ran a couple of years ago had a bigger international turnout.
And I've had the privilege of going up to Carlisle and watching level 3 there. A phenomenal match, looked amazing, but they are slightly limited by the space that they have. The borders, again, they're limited by the terrain, but they do put on. They seem to be a lot more technical. They get a lot more. They make the use. They extract every ounce out of the space.
Yeah. So what you'll find if you start competing on the circuit is different ranges build different types of courses of fire, and it's really interesting. But as a regular competitor, you get to know them. Yeah. I know when I go to borders, there's going to be a lot of natural terrain shooting. Yep. I know when we go to Dartford, it's going to be very tight, very technical. There'll be a lot of weird and wonderful angles to shoot from, except for Bay 10, which I always get completely fucked off with.
Is that the biggest
big
stage?
One?
See, that's the one that 2 years ago I was watching people and I was like, I want to do that stage. Like it's a real. I would say a run. It is a run and gun stage. There's a lot of movement.
It was a mindfuck as well.
Yeah.
Because there were targets everywhere, apertures everywhere. You could shoot almost every target from every position if you wanted to, and it really was time to gain, because no longer is there is one or two good ways to shoot this stage. It's going to take a long time for someone to work out the most efficient way to shoot this stage. And I do believe, after talking to lots of people who have gone and shot the stage afterwards, because Dartford leaves the stages up for club members to use, that people carried on improving the efficiency of shooting that stage to the point that they were coming within 3/4 of the time of the fastest person there.
Jeez. Because
you only have 5 minutes to look at the stage and plan for it.
That's it.
You can preview the stage from behind the lines, but you only get 5 minutes on there to look at where all the targets are. And it was such a ambiguous stage in how to shoot it that people were still working it out like weeks afterwards.
Even the top level shooters, you could see them at the end of every stage, or at the end when each of them had finished the stage, there was the hastily look around, like, what have I missed? And it just looked incredible. So
with the help of some other shooters who are very, very good and much better than I am, we managed to break the stage down to 4 shooting positions. I believe it can be done. It could have been done in 3.
Jeez.
That's what I was told from people who'd shot it afterwards.
So I'm very much looking forward to shooting this, but it is for a bigger purpose. So we're going to do something a bit different. If you've been watching Gunroom TV and the coverage of the level 3 practical shotgun matches and even mini rifle matches that we've done previously, we're going to do something a bit more in depth. So we're going to get we're going to get more specific footage. So rather than filming everyone and everything, we're going to be, so for Friday I will just be filming myself with the help of Paul. On Saturday I will be following the squad that Conners is in, and just that squad, and then on Sunday we're going to be following the squad that has Team Ducker in it, and just following them. And we're going to get footage of a standard manual shooter.
Do you know what I think we should do? An episode per stage.
No, that's going to take forever.
I know it'll take forever, but think about it, because you'll be comparing all the different ways that everyone has shot that one stage.
So we can do something like we could make it a mini series.
I think it should be suitable, because one thing we get asked for a lot is people want to know more about the detail of what's going on.
And that's what we're going to try and do with the way that we're going to film it this time. So we're going to follow at least one standard shooter, at least one standard manual shooter. I think one modified shooter, and at least one open shooter. So we're going to have all the 4 divisions shooting every single stage, and it will give us the chance to be able to come back and commentate on the footage. So I'm going to get a first-person view of myself, as well as a couple of other angles. I'm obviously going to be filming Conners. I haven't yet convinced him to wear a GoPro.
I did wear that aim cam for borders, and then I got confused with turning it on and off.
I just had loads of footage of him going...
No, it wasn't that, because Callum said something along the lines of it's 1 buzz and it's recording and 2 buzzes and it's off, something or other like that. So I got the 2 confused and ended up recording literally everything except the stages.
Which was great, because I was really looking forward to seeing how it went, and it was like, why has he turned it off? Oh. So yeah, we're gonna really try and really open up practical. So the videos that we've done before are more sort of highlight reels of the shooting.
It's the more arty showing off the shooting to new shooters and that sort of stuff.
So we're going to really try and get into the nitty gritty and explain and compare. So, you know, we're going to have at least 2 standard shooters. You know, there are, as you were saying with the previous stage 10, there are many ways to shoot these stages. That's why we both love practical. It's real, the mind game of it and breaking it down. So we'll be able to compare why you know, one person's done it one way and one person's done it another, and analyse what that has gained them. Has it paid off for them? Hopefully there aren't too many fails from me, but if there are, they'll be in glorious 4K.
Glorious high def.
So we'll see how it goes, but it should be something a bit different. But if you're looking to really learn the nitty gritty of practical shooting, it should be a great video or even a series of videos.
All right, I'd like some votes here. Who would like to see episode per stage? It would be 12 episodes. Stop saying no. It's actually...
I like episodes, but 12 is too many.
We'll break it down into 3 or 4.
What? Okay.
2 stages per episode.
2 stages.
No, it's got to be 3 or 4. Three
Why?
or 4.
Why? Why does it have to?
Because I need to edit them all. Oh no, Paul can edit them all.
Exactly.
No!
yeah, you're not asking for 2 anymore, are you? 5 stages in episode, you know.
No, I really think like. I really think that would work. Like if you spend 5 minutes, I'm not talking about a 30-minute episode. I'm talking about 5 minutes breaking down the way everyone shot at one stage.
We'll see what footage we get. We see how it comes out and what we can do.
People are saying they want episodes.
Oh, wait, Dan Smerald, obviously the authority on filming and editing, way too much. I would be inclined to agree. We'll see. We will
Shut
see.
up, Meg.
We will see what footage we get and what we can do with it. But that's the sort of the general plan. It's going to be a real in-depth look and commentary of it. And we have the squads that we are following. Well, I'm following on the Saturday and Sunday are very strategic. Because they hold probably a good chance, or the shooters within those squads probably hold a good chance of winning it.
At least for standard, open and modified anyway.
Open and mod. Oh, okay. Well, maybe at least a podium position.
Maybe not.
We will see how it goes, but we will certainly see you know, the top end of how these competitions are shot and how each stage is broken down. I mean, watching Ben Ducker shoot open is absolutely phenomenal. So we will try and capture him in all his glory.
Yeah. Blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah, you know, box feds. It's crazy.
It's not just box fed. He is a fast shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was an M2 in his hands, the only thing that would be slow would be the loading.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But very excited. Yeah. So we'll be busy bees. It's a early start tomorrow.
What if right? Let's say we do 6 episodes, because the short stages can be compressed to like 3 an episode.
Mm.
Then you can have a medium and a short in 1 episode, and then the long stage gets covered in 1 episode.
We'll see. We'll see.
That's getting there. That's definitely.
We will work it out. It's a work in progress, but we'll see what we get on the footage. But I'm really excited.
This all does really hinge on how much Paul knows how to press record on the camera.
Well, it will only be me that will be missed, which won't be a great loss.
No,
I can assure
I'm
you.
going to do what you did. I'm going to record everything but the shoot.
That might be advisable, but I will have the GoPro, so you'll get to see. I used to make videos like this all the time when I did competitions, but this would be a gunroom TV. But obviously, I will have all the footage, so I will probably do something a little different for English shooting, and you know, I do sort of a side video for that. So yeah, there'll be loads of footage around it, and you'll get to see why we like the sport so much if you don't already understand why at the moment. Some more news of this week, which I'm sure many of you have already seen, and no, this isn't the same bit of news regurgitated. Another politician's bodyguard left a Glock on a plane. I mean, at this rate, it's not snakes on a plane, it's Glocks on a plane. Where is Samuel L. Jackson when you need him?
Glocks and passports, as from what I hear.
Well, yes, so I'm sure many of you heard the story a few months ago that David Cameron's security ended up leaving his loaded Glock, his passport and David Cameron's passport in the plane toilet. Luckily, someone of good character found it, reported it, and it was okay. But this time it's Dominic Raab's bodyguard that left his loaded Glock in the airplane toilet. And you just got to think, you know, a lot of comments when I first put it on English Shooting was, this is old news, this happened a few months ago. No, they've done it again. It's absolutely incredible.
You've got to think about all the stuff that goes through one of those close protection guys' heads, and like, there's probably not a situation they've been trained for. When you need to go to the toilet on a plane, what do you do with your gun?
I know, but
like, there's probably no training for that, and they're focusing so much on everything they've been trained for. It's like they're gonna miss things like that.
I get it, right? But the reason I sort of find this funny, and it's not really funny because it's actually a very serious situation, but FAC holders and SGC holders will get crucified in a way quite rightly for even the smallest mistakes. You know, you have a lot of responsibility, a lot of bad shit can happen if you don't follow the rules or are sensible. But it's almost like when it happens with the police or the military or private security, it's almost like, you know, like you say, oh yeah, but it's a really stressful environment, there's a lot of things going through your head. The same defence doesn't get given to FAC holders. You know, it's not like he's being shot at the plane. It's not like he's in a hurry or he's in a hostile environment. He's in actually quite a sterile, safe environment, having been through all of the airport security. You know, and you know, I just think you put it somewhere where you're going to be looking at it while doing your business. You know, or hang it on the door so you see it as you go.
Or hold it in your teeth.
That's when the S just opens it up. You're like, don't ask. You know,
You're to tango.
But the thing is, for me, it's the security risk. What if there was somebody, an opportunist on that plane that got hold of that gun? Like, the ramifications could be absolutely extraordinary.
The ramifications?
The ramifications could be huge. And it's like the Met Police sprinkling 9mm all over the motorway recently as well. You're just like, oh dear. Like, again, accidents happen. You can be sympathetic. We're all human at the end of the day. But I think it's the disproportionate response against FAC holders and the police, just like with losing guns. If you know,
I wouldn't say that. If they turn around and said, "Yeah, we're banning guns because the bodyguard left his gun on a plane," sure,
I wouldn't put it past them.
But they're not.
No, but it's like, you know, there's all these excuses, and you know, oh, it's okay. Like, these are doing a stressful job. You know, going out stalking in pitch black and you know, losing some rounds in the brush. That's completely understandable and explainable. Yeah, it shouldn't happen. Yeah, you should be more careful. But that FAC holder is in great danger of losing his FAC for doing something like that, which again is in some way.
What's to say that bodyguard did get reprimanded?
I'm sure
we just don't know.
We don't.
And again, I think this is the fault of the media. They're not going to report the full story on it. They're just going to report the sensationalist bit, not the bit that really matters. Is, you know, what happened afterwards.
Yeah. So we see.
Was the reason why there was a gun left on the seat was because he had a brain aneurysm while he was on the toilet and was taken out of there by a doctor?
Heavy birtation.
We just don't know if he birtations or not. But the thing is so few details are given out by the BBC and the Sun and all that kind of stuff. You don't know what the real situation is. All you know is the bit that makes the headline.
Yeah. I still think it's like, come on, guys.
Dan, I don't want to know what people stateside leave in the toilet.
Well, this is just, again, one of these things when you go out to the States and you see the difference in culture when it comes to guns. We were talking about the Ruger 1022 while we were out in Utah, and one of the guys looked up and said, yeah, I used to have one of those. You're like, what did you do with it? I went out plinking one day and left it against a tree. Like, did you not go back? It wasn't worth that much. It wasn't worth the petrol to go and get it. Just left it in the middle of nowhere against a tree. So, yeah, whatever. You know, someone else finds it. They've got a nice present. It's like, okay then. You know, so it's very, very different out there.
You know, there's a lot of people in the chat saying, you know, they've got certain training and they would never leave the gun in the holster or outside of the holster or anything like that.
Sorry, Mike Gill. He had a brain hemorrhage while pinching a loaf.
But this is my point, right? Is if this guy is highly trained and all that kind of stuff.
What, in pinching loaves? Tactical loaf pinch. Anyway.
Then maybe some extenuating circumstances that we just don't know about. Once again.
Yeah. Maybe.
Could have had a brain hemorrhage,
But
hemorrhoids.
Sorry, I was incapable of holstering my sidearms because the hemorrhoids took over. Too much pinching the lobe. Anyway, any other?
You know they talk about roid rage.
Oh,
They said it was not hemorrhoid rage.
oh no! Damn it. Anyway, anyone got any sensible questions or topics that we would like to talk about? I've got a slight update. I know a lot of you will ask regularly about what's going on with my FAC at the moment. I explained previously that it was all down to the medical, the medical form.
Oh,
that
yeah,
needs
did
to
you
be
hear back?
completed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I heard back from the doctors. So that what happened is the day that Hampshire opened up for new applications, I hastily got it in there only to receive an email a couple of hours later saying that I had 24 hours to return a completed GP form.
You didn't read the instructions.
I didn't read the instructions. Still not my fault though. Not possible. Anyway, so I had to withdraw the application, and I ended up, although in the video where I talked about the GP form, I said that I was going to go with shotgun medicals. As it turned out, it was going to take 2 weeks just to get hold of my full medical record. So whilst you can, everything in that video is still correct in terms of the process of how you use shotgun medicals. What I didn't know is that for the full medical report, your GP will probably have to spend some time compiling that. And that's going to take.
They have to redact any third-party information.
And redact third-party information. So it was going to take them 2 weeks to do that, and they quoted me 2 to 3 weeks to do the form in itself. So I ended up actually going with my GP, and they phoned this morning to take payment. So I have paid them. It was £60, which I don't think was too bad.
No.
I mean, Shotgun Medicals wanted to charge £60, and the Medicert was £50, but like an 8 week late, a 6 or 8 week wait.
It was 6 weeks plus COVID delays.
Yeah, and who knows what that's going to be. So I felt the GP was the best option. And at the end of the day, I understand this is a service. It's not necessarily a right to demand the form.
And again, we've talked about this. It's a private service,
And it is,
not
yeah.
covered by the NHS.
Mhm.
Doctors have every right to charge for it.
Yeah.
It might only take them 15 minutes to do it, but if they're charging £240 an hour, then 15 minutes of their time is worth £60.
I know. I would like to see some standardisation, and this is probably something Basque could. There has been in other areas of the shooting industry sort of a flare up about the shotgun, the GP medical forms. I don't know what Basque is doing about it. I would like to see them calling for standardisation in terms of the fees, because I've heard people say that it's 20 quid. Some people it's fairly reasonable, like 60 quid, like me. But some people are being charged £200-300, and I would just like for them to be some guidance on it, maybe even bring it in through law or in some way that can stipulate what the fee should be. Obviously,
Well, I just understand that there's some guidance being released for GPs, is there not?
there was guidance with the form, and all it says is that a fee could be charged, but it doesn't say how much. And I would just like the police to go, we advised, £60, or just something like that, just so the GP doesn't just pluck a number from the air, because
and then actually someone applying for an FSC has a known cost of what the application is going to cost them.
Exactly.
It's going to cost your extra application
Yep.
and why for your GP certificate.
And that's it. At the moment, it's a big guess. Again, luckily mine is fairly reasonable. I have no problem paying that. So as far as I'm aware, it's being dealt with. I've paid for it. They should be now putting it on the GP's desk. I don't imagine it's going to take too long for them to do. So I'm hoping next week I should be putting in my full application, and then it's just fingers crossed to see what happens.
Well, it shouldn't take them too long to turn it around, really. They know you quite well by this point.
They know me very well.
I was going to say, there's going to be no debate that they already will have made their decision before the application even lands on their desk.
It will be a very quick. It will hopefully be a quick yes or a very quick no.
Either way, there's no reason to be dragging their heels on this.
No. Hopefully not. So we'll see where it goes, but I will keep you updated. I did see Stephen Wolf. Sorry, you've asked a few times the offensive weapons bill compensation. So I said I would keep you updated with this. There's nothing to update, unfortunately. It still stands from last time we talked about it. We've been released. There has been guidance released around the compensation, but as yet there is still no figures on what the compensation will be, and the exact process of surrendering them or handling them in. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what people are going to be getting for it. We have heard. Can we talk about the legal case at all? The big one.
Give me a brief.
You can't. They're on live stream.
The makers, the people.
No, can't talk about that.
Okay, that's fine. So
he knows things that you don't.
I can read your
I'd
mind.
actually like to do just a little recap on what you were saying about the guidance and the medical stuff as well.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people working on trying to get some figure locked down.
Mm-hmm.
It's seemingly impossible because the Home Office won't cooperate and other people won't cooperate. What is being released is statutory guidance to the police. That was due this summer. It will come out at some point, and that means that all police forces have to take the same approach to obtaining medical records. At the moment, there's 10 different ways they're doing it, different forces are choosing different ways, some banding together to do it in different ways, but when that comes out, they will have to choose one way to do it. It's the only way to do it, and at least that will be standard. The fees can still be changed, but at least the process will be standardised.
So that's some good news. I mean, again, we talked about it with Hampshire and Thames. So they are two counties that have partnered in terms of their approach with the shotgun medical forms. And again, I wish they had maybe made it a bit clearer prior to them reopening up, so I could have had it done beforehand and not delayed it. But as you're a big supporter of, well, this actually streamlines it. It means that you can have all your ducks in a line, and then you just send it straight in. It should sail through.
What we've been told by people in the biz in the past is that one of the things that really holds up FAC applications is actually the doctors.
Yes, and that's the thing, is we don't know the full processes and checks and what hold things up.
The doctors used to begrudge having to take their own personal private time, which they'd normally be charging for to fill out a form. So I think there's possibly going to be a really nice solution out of this, where the doctors will be happy to complete the forms, and FACs and SGC applications will be processed faster.
Yeah,
I really hope that that's the case here, and it's not just another hurdle to applications.
Which if you're a bit more cynical, you could think that.
After this week, I'm very cynical.
So we will have to wait and see. At the end of the day, one big improvement that I've seen so far, especially with Hampshire, is the online system. Everything now with the application is online. Things can't get lost in the post. Things can't, you can't spill coffee over something or lose something on a desk. It's all online. It's there to see. And again, that should streamline it.
And you know what? So one of the things, I've worked in lots of places, worked in management in all sorts of weird and wonderful places. But one of the things that always streamlines something is taking it from paper to digital. Because suddenly you have a ticketing system, you have a queuing system, and you can work through stuff. As I say, stuff doesn't get lost, but it also can be prioritised.
Yep.
And people can see what the workload is. So if they can see that there's more stuff coming in because the queue's getting bigger every day, then they can take on extra help in order to get it done. I know some police forces are actually teaming up to help each other with admin, where one area one department might be quiet and the other might be really busy. They're actually working together and helping each other out now. I believe Hampshire's working with Thames Valley. Thames
Valley, that's it.
So we're seeing a lot of these partnerships all over the place, and that's what we need in the shooting world: is everyone just to get together as one big happy family. Unfortunately, some individuals don't like that, but that's neither here nor there. So
we will have to wait and see. I mean, it's taken them long enough to get the online system. That's why the fees were increased supposedly. So, it's certainly from let's say a customer's point of view, a much better experience so far for me. Obviously, apart from having to withdraw it and then put it back in, but we will see. And also the great thing as well is you can download it. You can download it off of once you've done the application, and then you have a record of it.
You always could download it, because remember you had to. Previously, you'd have to download the PDF, fill it in, and email it back. Yeah. But this is actually a web form. It's a proper online application.
Which will actually make it very easy for me to then go and fill it back out, so all the details.
Yeah, because you've got autofill in Chrome.
But it's like details like my references, which is going to be Conners and a friend, Alex. Yeah.
I can't give you a reference. Not a good one.
I'm not asking for a job here.
Well, you ain't going to get that either.
But yeah, so all of those little details, because I was filling it out before I knew about the GP form, and filling it out, and like frantically trying to phone my friend Alex. It's like, where were you born? He's like, why do you want to know that? What's your mother's maiden name? Stop trying to get into my bank. You know, so all these little details I now have a record of, and I can just put it straight in.
Yeah, you do. You've got a record of everything. You've got where he was born, his mother's maiden name, his PIN number, his national insurance number. He gave you everything.
He does. I'm definitely buying a load of stuff. Another Sony A7 III. Thank you, Florence.
What are you talking about? He hasn't got any money.
So yeah, just a little update on that. But yeah, any other questions or topics? And just as we like to say all the time, please make sure you're hitting the like button. It does really help the channel. If this is the first time you've come across English Shooting, I hope we haven't put you off too much, and consider subscribing. We do some more sensible videos from time to time, but the live stream is just let's just say a way of blowing off steam from the week.
We've got a few dislikes on this stream, actually.
Yeah, we do, because things got silly. Things got really silly. But you know, you can't make an omelette without breaking a few eggs, right? You've got to get a few dislikes. Oh, one disappeared.
Thank you, whoever that was.
And it's just going to flip-flop now, isn't it?
Yeah, they did this to us once.
Actually, something that's quite important that I just remembered, but I didn't put down on the list, is the new COVID restrictions.
Yeah, they mean nothing for shooting sports, so don't worry about it. Unless you're shooting indoors.
Well,
you're screwed.
Again, the expression used
Then
by...
you're screwed.
We're fine.
No, it's indoor team sports.
So, yeah,
Is
you're all good.
you know, shooting is, you know, whilst you have shooting teams, usually for international competitions, it is an individual sport. It's not like, you know, five-a-side football and things like that. So, or racket sports, or that would be done in sports halls. So, as far as we're aware, like indoor ranges are still going to be okay. They will have to abide by the no more than 6. So I know that XPSC
We're split into 2 squads and they're
Yeah.
keeping separate.
The Masters is
it's
it's very well done.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an absolute ball ache. But it's very well done because they're not just taking the bare minimum and going with that. They are going to leave fallow ranges in between squads that are shooting, so there's a maximum of distance between each squad of 6 people. It's really good. There's like a matrix that all the competitors have to follow, which might sound like a ball ache.
But they've made it as clear as possible.
It might sound like a ball ache,
Yeah.
but it's exactly what you'd do if you went to a world shoot. It's exactly the same format. You have to be on this stage by this time.
Oh yeah.
And there is specifically actually a rule in IPSC to govern that sort of whole matrix system of if you are not at your stage at the allotted time, you don't get to shoot. It's a thing designed for world shoots and stuff like that.
Just
but
keep
this
people moving.
sort of matrix of where you have to be at which point in the day, because they haven't actually given it times. It's just once you finish shooting here, you move on to here. I think it's going to work very well, and it'll be a nice introduction to that sort of rota system for people who want to go to world shoots one day.
Yeah, but they've got it. It looks like they've got their formula, so it's going to be their squads of 6 and no more, and basically everyone's going to move around at the same time. So there'll be no interaction. Unfortunately, you know, no prize giving, so no big gathering at the end, which there usually is at the Masters. And basically, once you finish shooting, you get in your car and you leave, and we'll find out the results hopefully later that day. So, you know, in terms of shooting, it's not you know, thankfully an issue. I know, you know, Alex with the game shoots it's a big culture shock in terms of how things are run. You know, with things being very
Like
traditional.
the gun bus.
Like the gun bus.
The gun bus is no more for this year.
Things that have become
Which is
staples.
causing Alex no end of stress.
Yeah, and the ground's not even that wet yet.
It used to be really enjoyable shooting. No, it's not that bad. We had to put everything in place. It's a pain, but it's better to do it with pain and still shoot than not.
Absolutely. So a lot of shoots, even a few months ago, decided to call off the season, unfortunately. So it's great that we're still able to do it at this point in
Lucky
time.
they have the luxury of just calling off their shoot.
Yes, yeah. Well, this was well before.
We'll save the birds for next year.
Well, no, this was before all the birds had been like.
Right, okay.
This
That's
was
fair
months
enough.
and months
That's fair
ago.
enough. Okay.
So you know, it is a shame, but it's a bit of culture change. You know, people certainly within game shooting, it's very traditional, and the way that certain shoots are run has been done for many, many years. So there's things that have to be completely changed, and the same for practical. You know, one of the reasons that people like going to these practical matches is the chat, it's the banter, it's the community.
Unfortunately, we will not be having much of that at the Masters. There is specifically a rule in the briefing that every competitor has to read, saying no loitering in the car park, which is where I usually like to burn 3 or 4 hours after a match.
Yeah,
is in that car park talking to people, but.
So, you know, we luckily...
No prize giving?
No, yeah, I said no prize giving, no prize given. But they, we'll see how it goes.
It's not important when you say it.
I'm out of Pepsi. I'm very sad. Is there some in the fridge?
If we can get this down to 0 dislikes, I will slap Callum.
No, because Jonathan's been gone.
Well... If we can get it down to 0 dislikes, I will slap Callum.
No, I'm watching that number. He's got no.
2.
Why do you hate me so much? I'm not that bad. Let's go back up to 3. Someone likes me. 0. So you know, in terms of the new COVID restrictions, yes, there are going to be changes. There's going to be adaptations to how we do things, but we're still going to be able to shoot, and we can still make the most of it.
What with?
What? Zip.
I don't know. I'll slap him with this.
I was going to say, please take the knife out first.
Right, 0 dislikes, and he gets a slap with this.
Oh, my mum has joined the stream.
She's just in time to witness your beating.
Oh, you don't want to take her on. You do not want to.
What a competition! Who can beat you harder?
Oh,
this sounds like fun.
No, I'm gonna. We're still on 3. I've got a buffer. That's good. Stephen Wolf, this is why it pains me that the shooting industry is following these rules. Well, we have to. We should be ignoring them so that...
Don't complain about forgetting to send out your keyring. You got a free bloody shot saver out of it, if I remember correctly.
Ungrateful, right?
Ungrateful. Jeez.
Burn him.
You need to bring us twice the Pepsi next
time. So Stephen Wolf, you shall not pass. Stephen Wolf, I understand there's this sentiment about, you know, this is ridiculous now, we should just get on with it. At the end of the day, as FAC holders and SGC holders, you are held to the highest standard within the UK. There have already been cases of people losing their certificates because of breaking the rules. Right from the very beginning. Right from the very beginning. So, you know, I cannot advise that in any way, shape or form. If you disagree with it, the best way is to petition your MPs, you know, protest within the guidance. You know, unless you're pulling down a statue, then it's just fair game, right? But you know, don't go out there and break the. If you go out there and perfectly break the laws, don't expect to have a certificate. They are going to make an example of FAC and SGC holders beyond that of anybody else, because you are held to a higher standard, unfortunately. I had it clarified a few weeks ago. So the whole thing about privilege and right in terms of the certificate, I don't know if right is I think right might be a too strong a word, but basically it's not a privilege to gain a certificate, but it is most definitely a privilege to maintain a certificate. So, you know, once you're given that certificate, whether you like it or not, it's not a right, it is a privilege, and privileges can be taken away at any time. Trust me, they can, and they will.
Not that it stopped you shooting at all. Well, you're shooting more now than you ever did before.
I do. In terms of but you say that, the first proper match that I shot in 3 or 4 years was last weekend. So whilst I'm doing more shooting, it has severely affected competition.
It's the logistics of it, isn't it? It's keeping and storing a gun.
Well,
that's the problem.
This thing is, it was actually brought up in my appeal, because I said to them, look, I don't think you're weighing up here how significantly this is going to impact me in terms of my competitive pursuits, in terms of, you know, the channel that I'm building and the hobby that, you know, I consume most of my life with. And the head of Hampshire Firearms at the time said in front of the judge, oh, I'd still be able to do everything exactly the same. And it's like, yeah, but what about Section 1 shotguns and long barrel pistols? Well, you know, you won't be able to shoot those. It's like, so 3-gun at the time, which is the main discipline that I was focusing on, I won't be able to shoot, you know, two of those 3 guns under the under not having an FAC. So it has affected competition greatly, you know, but obviously since coming to Blue Fieldsports, it's made it easier. After, you know, if one thing, it's got me really shit hot on the law. In terms of, you know, what the rules are, what you can and can't do, what exemptions are in place, and how people are able to use them without FACs. And this is why I keep saying to people, like, look, if you're thinking, oh, you know, I won't get an FAC, or, you know, I won't be able to shoot, or it's too difficult, like, try having your FAC revoked. That is literally the most difficult situation you can be in. And I still do, as you say, a hell of a lot of shooting. It might be difficult in terms of competing, in terms of like Section 1s and stuff, but there are still many things you can go and do, and you can go and shoot. So if I can do it, so can you. But it is always better to have the certificates. Don't ever get them taken away. 100% don't advise.
Yeah. Cool. It's 9 o'clock, buddy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just, oh, okay. You've been flashing the screen.
Alex actually fell asleep and forgot to give you your cue.
Okay.
It's mainly because you're boring as all shit.
Oh yeah, that's don't you laugh? I'm gonna punish him severely.
No, you won't.
Just one thing to finish off on. Connor's got to grips with a little different type of shooting, longbow shooting.
Yeah,
so,
watch that video. I forgot to mention it earlier.
Yeah, it's a video over on Gunroom TV. If you're interested in medieval archery and longbow shooting, he doesn't like being called an expert, but for all intents and purposes,
he's a bloody expert.
He's an expert, and he got us shooting these historically, or as accurate as possible, historically accurate.
So please go and watch that video. Don't forget to drop a like on the live stream if you've enjoyed it. Encourage us to come back and abuse each other some more.
Yeah. Well, again, guys, we hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and joining in. I hope it hasn't been too much of a train wreck for you guys. Big thank you to Paul and Alex for sticking around and not falling asleep too many times, and for abusing me too many times, and of course thanks to Connors for joining me as well. And as always, guys,
I hope to see you soon.
We hope to see you soon. Bastard.